Back in the late 1990s, I worked for the Australian arm of State Street in Sydney. State Street is an American custodial bank and was at that time the second largest custodial bank in the world. What stood out to me upon starting at State Street and still stands out as different today when I look back was certain aspects of the corporate culture. Everyone had a plaque on their desk with the company's mission statement that had to be prominently displayed at all times, just in case the head of the company or some other bigwig came by. The other thing I noticed was that there were vice presidents everywhere. This was weird to me. At school, there was one principal and one vice principal. In the Whitehouse, there was one president and one vice president. But at State Street, there seemed to be vice presidents for everything. Now, I was told this was typical for American corporate structures, so a lot of you are probably thinking, yeah, but it's something I never encountered to the same extent at other non-American companies. You see, when words get overused, they lose their meaning. Think of how SJWs have devalued the word safe on college campuses, whilst feminists have devalued the word violence by equating it to mean comments on the interwebs. And so I used to think vice president was a prestigious title until I worked at State Street and I couldn't get in an elevator without running into one. So I did a quick Google search for random organisational structures, and the first one I came across was the plan for the University of Virginia. All in all, I counted 62 vice presidents. There were executive vice presidents, senior vice presidents, associate vice presidents, and assistant vice presidents. And I assume this would be similar for most US universities and other corporate structures. So when I heard Michelle Obama say this,
even before I became First Lady, even as a lawyer, as a vice president at a hospital,
my first reaction was, that sounds impressive. Vice president of a hospital, that must be a tough job. Hospitals are extremely busy environments with a lot of moving parts. But then I thought, hold on a minute. Vice president of what?
Well, okay. I did. I was the vice president of community outreach for the University of Chicago Hospital.
Yeah, you heard that right. Vice president of community outreach. So basically PR, promoting the hospital's brand in the community and kissing ass. Reaching out to donors for fundraising. So that leaves me a little less impressed. But I think Michelle Obama is very impressed with her own accomplishments. In particular, the, in my opinion, non-accomplishment of being First Lady. Just happened to be married to the guy who actually accomplished the difficult task of being elected president. But of course, I'm sure #Obama would tell us that her husband could never have got to where he was without her tireless support. Let's listen.
Because nobody grows up thinking I'm going to be a first lady.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And as you all know, when Barack was talking about running, I was like, are you crazy? Would you just chill out and do something else with your life? So I was working hard to try to get him to do the other thing. So whatever that was.
Well, to be fair, there's probably a lot of people that wished you had succeeded in talking him out of running for president. But now let's listen to Mrs. # talk up how complex being First Lady is.
But one of the things I knew, because people asked all throughout the campaign, what are your issues going to be? What are you going to be like as First Lady? And I said, I have to wait until I get there to figure out what that's going to feel like for me. Right? I specifically did not read other First Ladies' books because I didn't want to be influenced by how they define the role. I knew that I would have to define this role very uniquely and specifically to me and who I was. So I came in thinking about who I wanted to be in this position.
Now, I was going to ridicule how absurd it is to pretend being First Lady is some monumental task that needs defining. But I came across a clip of Bill Burr doing exactly that, and doing it way better than I could have. So without any further ado.
I'm sick of Obama's wife. Yeah. This isn't some Republican rant either. It's just kind of First Ladies in general. You know, I don't know what it is. All throughout my life, with each presidency, like these first ladies, they've just gotten more and more like chatty. You know? More and more chiming in, like leaning into the frame, spitting out their ideas. It's just like, well, why are you talking? Right? You weren't elected. Shut up. Your husband's not running a lemonade stand here. He's running the country. You don't just chime in. Let me guess, is this considered sexist? It is? Why? Well, okay, you just nodded there, lady. Let me ask you this, all right? Let's say you had a leak in your house, okay? You call a plumber up. He shows up, and he goes, yeah, I think the leak's coming from the upstairs bathroom. We need to shut it up, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden his wife walks in, who isn't a plumber. And then goes, hey, you know, I'm actually taking care of it. Wouldn't you be like, with all due respect, shut the up. I need a plumber in this moment. I'll extend an olive branch here. All right, at some point, there's going to be the first female president, right? Exactly. Which means at that moment, you're going to have the first male first lady, right? And when that happens, that dude needs to shut his trap. I don't want to hear a word out of him. I want to hear from the president. You, sir, go do some first lady stuff, all right? Go get yourself some gloves that go up to your elbows. Smile and nod during speeches. Go put your own flair redecorating the White House, right? Which leads you to Michelle Obama, right? And now she's sitting there holding up those hashtags. Remember that hashtag, bring back our girls? Remember that? It's like, it blew my mind. It's like, why are you showing me that? I'm a stand-up comedian. Like, what am I going to do to get those girls back? Why don't you look across the dinner table? It's like, you see that guy? That is the leader of the free world. Tell him to pick up a phone, call some Navy SEALs and solve it. What am I going to do? Show up with a sharpened mic stand? Hey, Michelle said to bring him back. Oh, it's unreal. I'll tell you what kills me. Hillary Clinton might run. She might run. That blows my mind. I mean, how she became a senator. She went from being the president's wife to being a senator. Just like that. Lateral move. That's like Tom Brady's wife becoming the next quarterback of the Rams. It's like, what, you hanging out? You just pick it up? I sucked at sports, and then I banged Tom Brady, and I don't know what happened. I just picked up a ball. I started lacing it. I'm leading receivers. It was incredible. I knew it was going to be like this. You know what's funny? There's actually people out there that think a woman being president is actually a good idea. You know? Can you believe that? See that they do. That'll do something. That'll change things. How? How the is that going to change anything? Do you know what the president makes a year? The president makes $400,000 a year. That's it. He's trying to keep billionaires in line, making $400,000 a year. That's all he makes. He makes less than some people blogging on the internet. The president should have you money, right? He shouldn't be sitting there with his pockets turned and saying, I need your help to get me the job, right? What do you guys all donate to the campaign? Is that what it is? The band's enjoying it. Martha Stewart, not so much, but the rest of you, enjoying it. They're just jokes, Martha. Come on. You got an empire. I'm rooting for you. All right, I'm out of time. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for